joined today by my co-caster Scattercat, and today we bring to you Week 3, a game between Kamikaze Penguins and HTS Gaming. Both of these teams 3-1 in the Noxian bracket, so it should be an exciting game.
Yeah, absolutely. And right away, Kamikaze Penguins, they banned the Hecarim. It's a contested pick for both teams, so they just want to take it off the board. Don't want to worry about the other team nabbing it from them.
Yeah, jungler bans being targeted here early. Again, Hecarim and Amumu being very strong. Amumu just getting a recent buff and now a recent nerf, but we're still kind of see the influx of him because of how strong his CC is. And now we're seeing a little bit of the flex pick in Aurelia taken away, the Vigar as well taken away. Could be played mid, could be played support. So now targeting a few flex picks for these players.
Yeah, and I mean, Mansberg has played Vigor, so, I guess they're worried about the infinite scaling or the possibility that they get a team comp to work around Vigor and all the power that he offers.
And it's interesting, Mansberg being very strong, we were talking about it before, on the Silas and the Corki, and neither actually going to be banned away here, so maybe they are trying to corral him onto one of those picks, so that way they can bring that counter pick, because they do have the last pick here in the draft. But Morgana going to be taken over, most likely going down in the bottom lane.
Yeah, Morgana's very strong right now in the meta. She's just good in mid or support. She can be flexed between the two. I don't know how much experience Mansberg has on Morgana, so I think you're right. I think that is going into the bot lane. But, they might always pull something out of their sleeve. We never know.
Absolutely. Based on his champion pool, he might just feel comfortable really on all of the picks here. Whatever they put him on, the team captain definitely going to be playing for the team. And now we see the Ari going over for tuition fee. She has absolutely been spamming that pick, so a nice pickup for her there.
Yeah, Ari, again, it's a strong pick. It's not the strongest. I mean, there are better champions statistically speaking than Ari, but she's still a force to be reckoned with in the right hands.
Absolutely. Now the Thresh going over, so if Morgana does go into that bottom lane, gonna negate some of that the CC and kind of control overall that the Thresh does bring to the table. So an interesting pick, but I think right now HTS Gaming really set on one composition that they have. We've only seen 2 picks thus far, but I think they've gotten something in mind. Like I said, trying to corral certain picks and taking different things off the board here. Yeah,
pretty much. And I really like that Nico coming out. I really like Nico all around. I mean, she could be flexed between top and mid. Sometimes 80 carry, depending on what you want to do. But now that they bring Ornn in, that's almost guaranteed to be a Nico mid lane, giving away already like where they're going to throw that champion.
And Asher, the Heathen, playing Ornn fantastically previously. Just a very strong engage, and it kind of just sets the team up for the Morgana to get in there with the Soul Shackles, for the Nico to jump in with the Pop Blossom. And then on the opposing side, we see Sion picked up, so it's just going to be a tank matchup in that top lane.
Yeah, I really like Ornn. I really like where he's at right now. He's not the tankiest top laner. He's not the most damage-dealing top laner, but I love all the utility that he brings to the team.
Absolutely. And now we jump into the second part of bans here. We see Draven and Draven taken off the board, as well as Malzahar. Maybe thinking that this Nico could be flexed around here. They banned another mid laner, so Ari just keeping herself safe. They don't want any tricks to come out here. And we actually see, are you seeing this in the Discord? RNG now locked out of the picks and bans here, so we are waiting on these last few bans to come through. But overall, both teams having very strong team fighting comps.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we can already tell that that's exactly what's happening. I mean, all the engage from both sides is pretty strong, to be honest.
And a whole heap of AoE damage. Again, the Soul Shackles from Morgana. Nico jumping out with the Pop Blossom to follow up. Just the AoE through the roof. So now we're seeing the 80 carry pool targeted very heavily, trying to make sure that Wizard is going to be banned out here, taking away the Kaisa, the Draven, and the Vayne. And then for Find the Light, he is going to grab that Lee Sin for himself, so he will have very strong early game presence here.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And then they're hovering the Ezreal pick, and I really like Ezreal. And I really like what he's able to bring to a team, especially the late game scaling part of his kit. Because once you hit about 4 items on Ezreal, he's real strong. Does a lot of damage.
Yeah, and just as a whole, this team looking so scary. The AOE damage, the ability to just pick somebody off if Nico does land the Tangle Barbs. As you're saying, Ezreal late game, just one simple combo absolutely deletes anybody on the team. So right now, Kamikaze Penguins looking to have very strong engage, and then as well as some peel for this Ezreal to keep him safe in these fights.
Yeah, I mean, and then rounding it out with the Sivir, excellent. I mean, her ultimate combined with Sion rushing in with his ultimate, that's real hard to get away from.
Yeah, and a solid pickup there defensively as well, being able to use the On the Hunt to disengage from the fight if need be, and having that spell shield in the bottom lane, going to be huge to keep herself safe.
Definitely. So as they go into the lobby here to get the game started, just looking at these two team comps, do you give the edge to any team over the other one?
Honestly, right now for me, Kamikaze Penguins, their ability to team fight. If they lose the early game, I don't think it really matters because of how much AOE damage just across the board they have. They're able to play either like a really pick style if they need to, if they are getting behind and not need to find some pick kills. But then they've also got the really strong engage between Ornn and Sejuani, and then all of the AOE and damage to follow up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very good point. Very good point. For me, I really like whenever I see an Ornn on a team because I love the engage that Ornn brings. I love that they're pairing it up with Nico. I love that they're pairing it up with Morgana and Sejuani. I like how all of them are going to work together, but HTS really scares me if they're able to synergize their ultimates, especially just Sion and Sivir together. They could just wreak havoc on Kamikaze Penguins. So if they play it correctly, they should still be okay, and they should come out on top of some of these fights. But overall, I do think Kamikaze Penguins has the slight edge team comp-wise.
Yeah, and they do have, as we were kind of talking about, just the ability to kind of disengage in the Lee Sin with the Dragon's Rage. As Sejuani dashes forward, he can just kind of kick her back into the team, and then on the hunt pop, and everybody just runs for the hills. One thing that I do like about Ornn, as well as his engage and just his tankiness as a teammate, but also his passive, being able to upgrade any of the items that these carries are building. So if Ezreal grabs that Frozen Fist this game, or even the Trinity Force, Ornn can be able to upgrade that, and then all of the mage items just across the board. So Ornn not only super engaged, super tanky, but also just that utility, giving them an extra edge, which is going to help if they do get behind. Now, Lee Sin going to be a little bit stronger early game in the jungle than Sejuani, so looking
Definitely.
to see find the light, maybe make some early plays and see if they can't get their team snowballing.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a pretty exciting early game if Lee Sin plays super aggressive, and he would, he has the right to do it. He's stronger than Sejuani in the beginning of the game. He can do a lot more stuff than she can. I wonder if they would try to invade. I wonder if they would give that a shot at the beginning, or if they are just going to set up, line of scrimmage. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to do an invade. They could do it if they wanted to, but we'll find out pretty quickly here if that is what they decide to do.
Yeah, they do have a strong level 1 in the hook, in the charm, Sion knockup with a decimating smash. But I think typically, I guess historically, as we've seen these streams kind of play out, most of these teams kind of respecting each other, not having played each other just yet. Everybody kind of doing that line of scrimmage. But I would love to see maybe more teams trying to get that edge on the enemy team, especially if they've been doing their research on the enemy team's level 1. And maybe look for an early invade, especially when you do have a level 1 team as strong as HTS Gaming's.
Yeah, definitely. So let's see. Can we see any, oh, we can't see we can't see the Keystone Masteries they've chosen. Never mind. I was going to try to comment on a couple of them, but we won't be able to see that for another 3 minutes because of spectator delay.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But as we said, Morgana down in the bottom lane, Nico mid, and we can kind of look across the board here and see Nico taking the barrier and Ari as well. So just trying to play safe in the mid lane. Again, if either of these mid laners can either go even or maybe even look for like early roams to get themselves ahead, they're gonna pop off. Nico very strong in team fights, and Tuition Fee, like I said, spamming that Ari pick, so very proficient. If Ari is able to get ahead, might be able to kind of run away with the game.
Yeah, that's very true. And then, in the bot lane matchup here, we have Ezreal against Sivir, Morgana, and Thresh. Sivir, if she gets that lane pushing and threatens that tower and just constantly has that lane pushed up, Ezreal's not going to have a good opportunity to recall and get his tier for his first item. And Ezreal doesn't have teleport to get back in lane really fast. So if they can pressure that bot lane accordingly, they could really put Ezreal behind his back time where he wants to go back and buy that tier.
Yeah, and Sivir does such a great job at shoving these lanes, which kind of brings me to the next point of if HTS Gaming do get behind, they've got a very, very strong team when it comes to wave clear. So if they are losing some of these objectives or Kamikaze Penguins looking to siege, it's going to be tough to siege against the Ari Sivir combo here. So they are going to be able to turtle up and buy some time for themselves to work their way again back into this game, maybe look for those picks. And then one thing that we didn't see in the pro drafts here is that last ban was Yuumi, who right now a super contested pick in the pro scene. And when you kind of mix that together with a strong AD carry and a team, a coordinated team, can be so oppressive and very strong.
Yeah, totally. And we also have. I also want to just talk about the Ornn and Sion top lane matchup very briefly here. I don't see either one of them like getting a kill in lane unless they have help from their jungler. Neither one of them should be able to get a kill 1v1 up there.
Yeah, just gonna be a farm fest, which is probably what they want best. Let the junglers kind of move down and get these carries ahead. Work on that Ari, work on that Sivir. Work on that Nico. If Sivir, again, pushing in very heavily with the Boomerang Blade and the Ricochet, that should open up early ganks for the Sejuani, but it's going to be a tough lane to gank when you've got that Spell Shield and the Lantern to keep her safe. So just as you said, we might see kind of just the farming battle, the overgrowth battle in the top lane, building up these tanks, and then having these junglers kind of work around the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, and timer hit 0. We're getting in there. Spectator delay is done. So let's take a look at the masteries here. Let's take a look at if there's anything weird or interesting going on. Both top laners took Grasp the Undying. That's not too unusual. Lee Sin with that Conqueror. I hope this Lee Sin is one of those that makes like the big Lee Sin plays, commits to those Qs and goes in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think building Conqueror a strong pick, but unfortunately takes away a little bit from that early game damage. As the game gets later, he's going to have that true damage and the healing. So we'll kind of see how he plays around that. I'm not too sure if the last time he played Lee Sin, he was running Conqueror as well. So we'll just have to keep an eye here.
Yeah, and then Sivir, of course, takes the lethal tempo. I mean, right now it's super strong on a lot of AD carries. It actually wasn't too long ago that it wasn't good on many of them. You would prefer to have one of the other keystones on them, but right now it's real good, especially on Sivir because she has those auto attacks reset with her W and her Q, and then she also has the Q, the W, the bouncing blades to go between all of the targets ahead of her. So that should be super strong on her.
Yeah. And I think with that lethal tempo, again, just going to help towards that wave clear, able to push that lane in, helping those fights. It's such an auto attack heavy champion that if they are able to get her ahead, that lethal tempo, breaking that attack speed barrier here is going to be huge in these team fights.
Yeah, and none of the. It doesn't look like we're gonna get any invade strategies. It does look like it's just gonna be line of scrimmage.
Yep, pretty.
Thresh and Sivir move out a little bit. Maybe they're going to try to set something up in that river bush.
Yeah, maybe looking for some level 1 cheese here. Lee Sin starting on the top side of the map. So it kind of gives a little bit of pressure down on the bottom side. And a strong level 1. The Boomerang Blade, if you're able to hit it going forward and coming back, a whole heap of damage. And then Thresh probably starting with his hook here. So he's going to be doing, have decent CC level 1. But as we jump into this match here, let us know in the chat what you guys think. Hashtag KP win, hashtag HTS win. Which of these teams is going to take it? Again, both of these teams 3-1 in their respective brackets. So they can either jump up and both be 4-2 and stay tied for first, or we could see somebody taking that top spot. But we see a pause coming out here.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe some internet issues, maybe a bug splat here. Tribbles does
that's
disconnect.
True. That could be the case.
And I love to see Morgana. Obviously, Morgana support. She does have the summon Aerie, but I love to see that she takes that stopwatch rune. That is such a core item on Morgana, and it's free 600 gold. Now she doesn't have to worry about buying that stopwatch, and it's just going to help her get to that early Zhonya's hourglass.
Wow. Another pause.
I think they unpaused a little too soon. Morgana looked to have reconnected as they paused again, so we'll just have to monitor what's going on there. We've got an early Dark Seal on Ahri, so again, very proficient on this champion is Tuition Fee. So she's looking to get herself ahead here and maybe look for some early kills, some early assists, maybe some roams here to start getting those stacks built up.
Okay, there we go. We're back in.
Unpause, jumping back into the game here. And again, a pretty standard start, both of these junglers starting at their red side. So they should end up on opposite sides of the jungle, but I think a good start there for the Lee Sin. Sejuani looking to do a full clear on the bottom side, and Lee Sin looking to take away that blue buff, which could be huge in denying that from the Sejuani.
Yeah, and Sivir and Thresh pushing Ezreal and Morgana into the bot lane. Getting a little bit of poke. That's good poke.
Yeah, and I think that's as to be expected. Again, the Boomerang Blade just hitting all of those minions, getting as much value as possible if you're able to hit the minions and the champions to try and poke them down. Now here comes the
great
hook
hook
level
by
2.
Thresh.
Flay is on. Ignite is on. They use the heal to try to keep up a first blood going over to Sivir, but Ezreal manages to trade one back. A little too aggressive there underneath the turret, but first blood going over to Godzilla. And now we see the junglers actually going toe-to-toe. Sejuani spots Lee Sin out at the blue, forced to flash away. The Tangle Barb's on from the Nico. Just going to be a little bit of poke damage here. Able to use that Blast Cone to get away, but here comes Ornn. He wants more. The Bellows Breath is on. He's going to find the slow. He does clamp him out there, but Ahri going to roam over, keep her jungler safe, and so far, a bloody early game, but only 1-1.
Yeah, really good on the Sivir and the Thresh there. They noticed that they hadn't hit level 2 yet, the Morgana and the Ezreal, so they knew that Morgana did not have her black shield to stop a hook, and they just went for it.
Again, in this top lane, Ornn pushing out, but just going to be farming it out. Now, here comes another hook here. No flash, no ignite available on this Morgana. Sivir stepping up. She might go underneath the turret here. She tanks up a turret shot. She does pick up the kill, and she lives there. They're trying to keep her up in a double kill for that bottom lane. Now 2-0-1 is that Sivir, and just beautiful play there underneath that turret.
Yeah, I don't know if they didn't have vision on the Thresh, and Morgana didn't use a black shield at that moment, or if that was just late on her part to hit the button. I really don't know what happened there.
Yeah, actually, Morgana only level 2 in it. She may only have points in her Q and her W, so she doesn't actually have that black shield leveled just yet.
Ooh, well, that's a mistake then. I mean, you could chalk it up to personal preference, but honestly, you know, if you're wanting to keep you and your AD carry safe, you really should take that black shield at level 2 just to be sure, you know?
Absolutely, and it may have been a misclick. They were engaged on very early, and they did hit level 2 underneath the turret, so she might have just misclicked that W, and unfortunately now they're paying the price in the bottom lane.
That's true. That's very true. So top, you know, Sion does have a bit of a health advantage, but it takes a lot for him to have the damage to kill the Ornn anyway. So it looks bad from time to time for the Ornn, but they're trading pretty evenly all around.
Yeah, and Ornn going in there, he does get a huge chunk of health damage there with the Brittle, but we actually see the flashes coming out and a solo kill for the Sion, and that is not what we were expecting.
Of course, as I talk about how the Ornn shouldn't die, he dies. Of course, that's just my luck.
That's sometimes how it works. Ornn, again, just biting off a little bit more than he could chew. Getting some good damage down onto the Sion, but he was also down 2 levels when he tried to take that engage. But now we see Sion hits level 6. He uses the ultimate to get away. Ornn, unfortunately, not able to find one there. But with Sion having to take his leave, Ornn should be able to kind of close the gap or maybe even get himself a nice CS lead.
Yeah, that CS lead was pretty good up there in top lane, but now it's getting back to even. Mid lane CS is completely even between both mid laners, and then in the bot lane we have the Sivir just kind of bullying the Ezreal Morgana.
Hook coming out, not going to find the target, and now both teleports down for these top laners with the Mountain Drake on the board, so they're not going to have any help there. And with the bot priority that HTS have, we may see Lee Sin trying to make some early plays down there again and pick their team up that Mountain Drake. Sion getting a little bit of damage down, does not have the ultimate. Ornn able to use that searing charge to get to safety, and he's just going to start chugging on those potions and then do his best here to farm up underneath that turret.
Yeah, everything kind of settling back into some state of equilibrium here, you know, where nobody's fighting. Everybody's kind of, they're either resetting their lane or they're recalling at the moment.
Yeah, Sivir with a nice back, looking like she's building towards that Essence Reaver, so kind of working towards more of a scaling push here. Not rushing that Infinity Edge right away, but I think when you're up so far ahead right now, Ezreal only having that tier, it doesn't really matter what you build. She's just going to be very strong, and a beautiful spell shield there from the Dark Binding.
Yeah, getting a lot of poke off on Thresh, though.
Yeah,
so that trade wasn't completely lost by Ezreal and Morgana. They actually kind of won the damage trading. They just got to get the CS now to make up for it.
And now we see Mansdeferg first to roam here. Ahri still in the mid lane. Unfortunately, Asher not able to follow up just yet and is only level 5, so he didn't have Call the Forge God. Now Lee Sin coming up to try and make this a 2v2. Pop Blossom is available. Is it going to be used? She has to flash away. Lee Sin flashes on top of her. There's the shield, but it's not going to be enough. Find the light, finds a kill, and they're looking for a second one here. The ultimate coming out from the Sion, and that's going to be the kill. Ornn and Nico going down a 2-for-0 in that top lane, but now they're trying to trade it on the backside. Always going to game. On the hunt is on, but they're looking for the Thresh. There's a True Shot Barrage, finding some damage. Ignite is on from the Morgana. Flashing away is that Thresh. He uses the Lantern for the shield. He uses the hook there. Ezreal able to pick that one up, and now they want more. No mana on this Sivir. She's looking for the kill, but that spell shield, a beautiful spell shield on the permafrost. The shutdown now going over to Sejuani, but it's so bloody in this bottom lane. Tuition Fee comes down and cleans up the leftovers. A 2-for-1 so far on the bottom side, or a 2-for-2, I'm sorry, on the bottom side of the map. And just like I said, Nico first to run up in the top lane. We see Ahri come down the bottom lane, flash forward with the charm. Not going to find the damage, but overall, an even trade in that bottom lane, a 2-for-2. But in the top side, Find the Light and Pazzo just going absolutely nuclear and picking up 2 kills for themselves.
Yeah, I actually want to talk about that top fight. You know, as soon as the Lee Sin showed up, the Nico tried to leave, right? And it kind of made Ornn and Nico target the Lee Sin at the end of that fight. But the Sion was almost dead, you know? They could have both turned and fought the Sion. If they both thought they were probably going to die anyway, you know, you can at least get 1 kill for your troubles on that Sion, who was pretty close to death anyway.
And now we see Lee Sin making his rounds back into that top lane. Searing Charge on cooldown now. Use it to get away just a moment ago. Sonic Wave, Resonating Strike, going to pick that one up. And right now, Find the Light. As he's finding the kills, he's finding the plays, and and his team so far is finding that gold lead. We see the
God.
damage coming out from that Sivir. She has the completed Essence Reaver. That last auto attack absolutely chunking there. The box is on now. Sejuani trying to make it right in this bottom lane, make something out of nothing. Thresh getting dangerously low here. The permafrost is on. Sejuani does get hooked up, but Ezreal picks up one. Now looking for another one. Does he have the damage? He does not. Sivir gets herself another kill. 5-1-1 on this AD carry. And on the top side of the map, first brick goes to HTS Gaming.
Yeah, first tower already. It's not even 10 minutes.
Yeah, Sejuani stepping up there and gets the trade kill and another shutdown for herself. So that's 2 shutdowns on that Sejuani, which is really just going to help get tanky.
Yeah, we're already seeing a few instances of just some lanes getting out of hand. I mean, obviously, Sivir's the big example. You know, 6-2-1 and 30 CS ahead of this Ezreal. You know, she's already a major problem.
Yeah, Sivir going to be doing a little bit of AoE damage with the Boomerang Blade and the Ricochet, but I think we still have hope in the team fighting composition from the Kamikaze Penguins. Sivir going to be able to do a lot of single target damage, whereas the Kamikaze Penguins going to do a lot of AoE damage. Now a beautiful hook from the Thresh on Mansford down in the mid lane, stuck in the middle of 2, but a beautiful Tangle Barbs and a Pop Blossom to keep him safe. But that was a great hook on an invisible Nico from that Thresh. And now they want more. Scion here in between turrets. A decimating smash. Going to get the knock up. Tuition fee. Going to get the kill. Might trade it back. A shutdown going over that Nico. So that definitely helps. Now find the light on the bottom side of the map. We're looking to get this Sivir even further ahead. Sonic Wave not going to find the mark. But Ahri picks up 2 in that mid lane. And maybe another turret here. Lee Sin with the dive. Just a beautiful dive and a beautiful solo kill onto that Morgana. Find the light. Doing exactly what we said he needed to do. He's playing that early game Lee Sin, and he needs to make early game plays.
Ooh, the True Shot Barrage misses. It goes up to the top side of the lane. Didn't hit anything. That's a shame. Might have picked up a kill if it had hit someone.
Yeah, especially with Sejuani down there. Very healthy. Does have the ultimate. Has to wait on it here. Smites the Sivir. Sivir forced to flash away. There's the Glacial Prison, but the Spell Shield to keep her safe, and Sivir walks away from that one. Now we're seeing 400 gold on the Lee Sin, 450 gold on the Lee Sin, 400 gold on the Ahri. Can they find the shutdowns? It looks like they're going to find another kill, and unstoppable is that Lee Sin. A beautiful flay. The box going to follow, but not going to find the slow or the damage. Another hook coming out. Black Shield not being used there. Thresh getting taken low here. Has to be careful. And now we're just seeing skirmishing all around this map here. Pazlo trying to find one in the mid lane. Lee Sin making plays on the bottom side. And although not much going on for them here, actually we see the Black Shield coming out. The Sonic Wave lands. Lee Sin takes that Q, and he takes that kill. Now the Dragon's Rage coming out. He flashes forward with an auto attack, and Find the Light is just styling right now.
I mean, with how far ahead HTS is right now, it seems almost unfair.
Yeah, like I said, a 700 gold shutdown on that Lee Sin, 3-0-0 on the Ahri, playing so well, and this Thresh pick was so pivotal for his team, able to not only make plays, but just like you see it there, they save 1,000 gold shutdown just by using that Lantern and keeping that Lee Sin safe.
Absolutely. So we're not even at 15 minutes yet. We have 19 kills to 6, a 10,000 gold lead. And, you know, at this point, if you're the Kamikaze Penguins, you have to wonder what you can even do to turn this game around.
Yeah, they are still managing to make plays around the map. They get the first Drake here. They might find a kill. They force a flash there out of the Scion, but now Ahri stuck in the middle of 4. Searing Charge is going to get the knock up and a shutdown going over to Ornn. Now they're looking for the fight here. Very low is that Scion, but he's going to have that passive. He does go down. Pop Blossom now stunned up is that Lee Sin, and another shutdown on the Ornn. Lee Sin now dead. Scion passive trying to do what it can, and now Thresh in a very bad spot. He drops the hook, and he gets Nico with it. But overall, a 4 for 2, a triple kill for that Ornn, and he got 2 huge shutdowns, and just before that fight, stole the Rift Herald from Sion.
That helps a lot. The gold lead went from 10,000 to 7,000. They made some ground up there. And now by dropping Shelly here in the mid lane, they can get some tower gold, you know, catch up even more than they just did.
Yeah, we cannot count these guys out just yet. Again, their team comp, very scary for the 5v5 fighting, as long as they're able to get these abilities down on the priority targets. Now, Tuition Fee stepping up here. Probably not the best pick there. Now, Sivir going toe-to-toe with the Sejuani in the bottom lane. Always going to game, trying to find something. A couple more auto attacks should do it here, and that's going to be the solo kill for that Sejuani. And she picked up a couple of shutdowns on that Sivir early. Now, all of Sejuani's kills do come from that Sivir, and she, like I said, she's just going to get tanky here. A mostly AD comp from HTS Gaming, so if you let those tanks start getting these shutdown golds and start building tanky, that's just going to mean really the demise for your carries here. Your 8-1 and Lee Sin not going to be doing much damage. Your 6-3 and 2 Sivir also going to be lacking on that damage once they start getting some armor.
Yeah, I mean, they may have had a 10,000 gold lead going into those last couple of fights, but that gold lead does nothing for you if you haven't gone back to use the gold to buy the items. And you can look in the feed, but after they all died, they all bought another item. So that's clearly why they lost that last fight.
Yeah, just not using great timing of the back timers. Dragon coming up here in just a moment. It is going to be another Mountain Drake. So hopefully Kamikaze Penguins fight for this one. They do catch the Sion out here. Call of the Forge God is on. Gets a 3-man knockup. Not going to be much follow-up on top of that. Black Shield going to stop that charm. And now we might see the re-engage onto that Thresher. He uses the Flay to keep that Ornn at bay. The hook coming out. He does find the Ornn and find the light. Finds a kill. Now a kick onto that Ezreal. Gets the knockup onto that Nico as well. Sivir picks up 2 and a double kill for that for the Lee Sin as well. Sejuani trades it back, but it doesn't matter. That's going to be a 5-for-1 ace underneath that mid lane turret. And just as we were praising the 5v5 team fight, KP get a little bit sloppy.
Yep, taking mid tower. Are they going to keep pushing, or yeah, they're going to keep pushing. They're still 3 minutes away from Baron. They don't want to get Dragon just yet. They're going to push, get some more objectives, and then probably do Dragon after that.
Yeah, and a Mountain Drake is exactly what you want. If you're KP, you want to try and keep that out of the hands of that Sivir, but we might see a re-engage here. Low health bars for HTS Gaming. They have to be careful. Man's looking for a kill here. Ezreal stepping up there. Manzafur going to pick up a kill onto that Thresh, but traded back from the Sivir. Now 6-3 and 5. Sion tries to get the knockup. Doesn't find a Sejuani. Finds a kill for herself. Now charmed up and in the middle of 3. She has to flash away here. Redemption is on. Not going to find any heals there. But overall, a 2-for-1 on the way out.
That was actually a really good disengage. I was very surprised. I thought Sejuani was just going to sacrifice herself, but she escaped. Good on her.
And with 2 members dead, and Sivir now just actually coming out of the base, that may kind of give some breathing room for this Mountain Drake. It, might have pushed HTS off. And as I was saying before that fight broke out, you don't want Mountain Drake on that Sivir. And yeah, it looks like, again, Tribble's having some connection issues here. But so far, we're 17 minutes, almost 18 minutes in this game, and this is absolutely bloody.
It's a very, very bloody game.
So, Rift Hero gets taken. They take the mid turret. They drop that gold lead from 10k to 7k. But now, as this team fight breaks out in the mid lane and they skirmish a little bit more, and the mid inhibitor turret actually getting pushed out by HTS Gaming, they're creeping up again on that 10,000 gold lead. What are we thinking for, if you are Kamikaze Penguins right now, what are your comms sounding like, and how are you feeling that your team gets back in this game?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there could be an argument made for forgetting about this game, already chalking it up to a loss, and already talking about what you're going to do differently for the next game. However, if that's not your mindset, and if you do still want to try to turn this game around, you have to just try to pick them off individually. it's to a point with the gold lead and the item lead on HTS Gaming side that you're probably not going to win any team fights. So right now they need to pick off this Lee Sin. Good, they picked a member off. They just got to keep repeating that with the other members of HTS Gaming. That's how they claw their way back. That's how they minimize this gold lead. That's how they have an opportunity to turn this game around.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we've seen in HTS Gaming. When they do get ahead, they play a little more ambitious than they probably should be. Lee Sin there getting caught in the middle of 3, and a second Mountain Drake now going over to the Kamikaze Penguins. Not necessarily the strongest team to take Baron, but just really good to deny that away from that Sivir, away from that Lee Sin for, I guess, future pushes when that Baron does spawn. It's going to be nice to know that they don't have 2 Mountain Drakes to just melt it down.
Yeah, but now they're grouping as 4 in the mid lane. Granted, this could be a 5v4 if everybody on Kamikaze Penguins chooses to engage before Lee Sin gets there, but the Ornn is already moving up to top lane to split that lane.
Yeah, trying to keep the minions away from the base here. Don't want to give HTS Gaming really anything to take if they do manage to pick up a few kills or win another team fight. Again, if the minions are pushing to the turret, obviously just a very strong push there. Baron now coming up in just under 30 seconds. And we may see another team fight, but we actually see Always Gonna Game caught out here, not on a ward there, but Lee Sin does get a beautiful Sonic Wave. Now caught in the middle of 5 members. Find a Light, picks up that kill, and that definitely could mean Baron at this point with no jungler.
Yeah, that True Shot Barrage, you know, Israel tried to get it in there, but I don't think... Very unfortunate. So without any dragons to their name, and Kamikaze Penguins having 2, they can still do a lot of damage to this Baron. They can still do a lot of damage to any objectives they go for. They could try to steal this.
I see Sivir going in with the On the Hunt. A 5v4 again. Manzifer keeping everybody at bay so far with the Tangle Bars. Now Ornn stuck in the middle of 5. He is going to go down. Now Ezreal and Nico trying to kite away from this one. Sion goes in with the Unstoppable Onslaught. Doesn't find anything. But now Sejuani is alive, so they may still look for a play. Sivir actually getting taken dangerously low there. Lee Sin caught up underneath the turret, taking turret aggro. Sejuani absolutely huge now in the middle of 3, but so very tanky. Charmed Up is that Ezreal on Tuition Fee, finds a kill for herself on that Ahri. Manziferg does get hit by that Q, but Lee Sin doesn't take it, but Thresh finds a Q for himself. The death sentence. Gonna put that Nico 6 feet under. Now 5 members of HTS Gaming sieging down this top lane. And Find the Light wants more. He goes in, he picks up another kill. Stuck in the middle of 2. He is gonna go down, but it might not matter at this point.
Yeah, they're just gonna keep pushing. They're just gonna keep hoping that Kamikaze Penguins keep trickling in as they're respawning. They can absolutely win the game here if that's what happens.
Sejuani looking to turn things around. Again, a very tanky jungler at that. Ezreal still scaling, and now we're starting to see him do a little bit of damage, but that top inhibitor is going to go down. And it looks like HTS Gaming maybe just looking to reset here. And again, we might see them prep for that Baron.
Yeah, they're backing up here. We'll see if any of them recall or if they're just going to try to get a bunch of vision placed or, you know, check for their vision. No, looks like it's just mainly going to be recalling and resetting their lanes. Sejuani doing a good job going up to Baron pick and get some vision in there, get rid of some of HTS's vision. Morgana coming to help facilitate that. The Lee Sin doesn't want to let it happen, though. He's coming in, but I don't think there's going to be a fight.
Definitely has to be careful, though, because he did get caught out down in that dragon pit. So if he's stepping up alone for this vision, as we said before, a very strong pick comp, as well as their team fighting. But if Nico lands really anything, if Morgana lands a binding and you're caught out in the middle of 3, it doesn't matter what your gold lead's at. 3v1, you're probably going to die.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And HTS is coming in. Everybody's trying to get rid of some vision. I don't know if they're setting up for a Baron or if they're just baiting it or going for an engage. It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, just clearing out the vision.
Very good Black Shield.
Absolutely. Doesn't lock up that Nico. And this Thresh has been so spot on with those death sentences, finding key targets. But as you said, a great Black Shield from Morgana, and now Baron going to be started up for HTS Gaming.
Absolutely, and they know that Ornn is in the bot lane. They know that he can't join this fight, so they should not have any fear at all starting this Baron.
Yeah, 2 members step up. A charmed up is that Ezreal. Sivir finds 1 for herself. Make that 2. Baron going to be stopped for just a moment. Ornn does teleport in, but it might not be enough. Call of the Forge God doesn't find anything here. Nico with the Pop Blossom trying to get away from this Lee Sin. Gets a little bit of damage down, but it does not matter. Lee Sin finds 1 for himself, and now 3 members dead with super minions pushing into the base of the Kamikaze Penguins.
Yeah, the Ornn TPing in was just too little too late. It wasn't going to complete until those 2 members had already died, so it just turned the fight from a 5v2 to a 5v3, and they still weren't going to win that.
Yeah, now Ezreal coming up in just a few moments, but he does not have that True Shot Barrage, so he will not be able to look for the steal. And this giant purple worm here in the river going over to HTS, which now grows that gold lead to just shy of 15,000 gold.
It's very huge, this gold lead. It's pretty tremendous. So one thing that, if you're on Kamikaze Penguins, one thing that just could have made that fight completely different is before the Ezreal and before the Morgana both go up a little too far and get caught, wait until you communicate with the Ornn to TP in. Once Ornn is TPing in, once that TP is about to finish, then you can communicate that you want to go in, because then, you got 3 of you going in, Ornn's ultimate going in to help.
Speaking of going in, we see the engage onto that Nico. Tuition Fee now on a killing spree, and Lee Sin looking for the Morgana. He finds it there, a killing spree for himself. Now 2 members dead for 30 seconds. This is a Baron up HTS Gaming. Sion teleporting to that base, and they might look for the end right here.
Yeah, they'd definitely be able to end right here as long as none of them die, and I don't think they will. They're just kind of too strong.
Getting a little ambitious, but Sivir, as you said, so strong, melts down that Ornn through his resistances. Now Lee Sin looking for the Ezreal here, trying to pad the stats. The KDA gamer, but Sejuani not going down without a fight. Drops the Glacial Prison onto Sivir, does find the kill, but forced to run away in her own base. Lee Sin goes on to that Ezreal. The GA gonna be popped, and right now it looks like they're just playing with their food. A 15,000 gold lead. The Nexus completely open here. Nico going in with the Pop Blossom, not gonna find a kill for herself just yet. Lee Sin picks up another one, 18, 5, and 6 before he dies here at the end of the game. And like I said, they're just playing with their food. It looks like they should be able to end the game here. Minions on the Nexus. 2 members still alive. But a killing spree on that Sejuani might be able to save it. Not going to be enough. And game 1 going the way of HTS Gaming.
So let's take a look at some of the post-game stats here now that this first game is in the books, and HTS take that win. My client is having a little bit of issues. There it goes. All right, so let's look at some damage graphs. Let's take a look here. The Lee Sin and the Sivir are both very close in terms of overall total damage dealt to enemy champions. It's a lot of damage, and then the RE comes in third on their team. Very surprised that Lee Sin is doing that much damage in comparison to everyone else on the team. I mean, that for Lee Sin to be that high, it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I do believe he ended the game there with 18 or 19 kills. Very, very proactive in the early game. And then again, Sivir, just as she scaled into the late game in these team fights, able to pick up a few double kills, a triple kill here and there, getting that damage back. Now, one pick that I did want to talk about was the Ahri here. So not necessarily a huge pick and a huge carry. Didn't do the most damage in the game, didn't have the most kills, but was so big on hitting those charms, able to charm up the carries, able to charm up the Nico, or even like the Ornn when he's caught out a little bit too far from his team on an early engage. A very strong pick in that mid lane.
Yeah, it definitely did a lot utility-wise, just helping them out in these team fights. Just getting the team fights going and then letting Sivir and Lee Sin just mop everybody up.
Yeah, and speaking of picks as well, another pick that I wanted to talk about was the Thresh. They did have the Morgana, but the Black Shields just a little too late in some of these key moments, and Thresh able to land these key death sentences on the ends of fights to kind of turn things around, as well as to start things off here in this game. But with that being said, I believe we are going to go to a quick intermission.
Yep.
HTS Gaming up 1-0 on the Kamikaze Penguins. These teams are going to regroup and rethink their strategies, and then we will see you guys back here in just a moment. So don't go anywhere.
Yep.
Welcome back, everybody, to game number 2 in this 2-game series between HTS Gaming and Kamikaze Penguins. HTS being the victors in game 1. And now, Scattercat, if you want to kind of talk about maybe what was going on in this last game, or is everything set between these two teams?
Yeah, it's just, HTS Gaming just kind of stomped them. It was just a really rough game for Kamikaze Penguins. They made some good plays. They really tried to dig in and do a come from behind victory. It just wasn't going their way. And part of that is the Lee Sin being as strong as he was, which is why we see Kamikaze Penguins banning him out right away here in the first round.
Yeah, and a couple of jungle picks there. Find the Light is the team captain, so if he's getting ahead, you know that the team morale and really just the mindset of the team is going to be up because he's calling the shots, he's making the plays. If you are maybe able to ban him out, you might have a little more success in kind of putting him behind, which maybe may put their team and mental behind. But I think after coming off such a decisive win, the team's feeling pretty good.
Yeah, basically. And just to have a clarification here, that is not a mistake in the pro draft tool that final ban for HTS Gaming. They actually do just lose a ban in the first round because of their substitute being a higher rank than the player that the sub is replacing. So they only get 2 bans in the beginning, and they'll only get the final 2 bans. So they get 1 fewer ban than the Penguins do.
Well, thank you for clarifying, because we have seen that bug sometimes where nothing pops up. And early,
it's a weird bug. It really is.
Yeah, I think actually Yumi shows up like that as well so far for right now on the Pro Draft client. But Aurelia gonna be taken. I believe that is gonna go into the top lane for Pazzo. Kaisa Thresh, a strong lane for the bottom side, and then Amumu actually getting picked up this game. Was banned out last game, so and the Urgot again I believe was banned. So far a pretty strong team comp. Amumu a very solid pick in the jungle right now, and then Urgot with that Conquer, if he does decide to run it at the end of the game can become a raid boss.
Very true. And Kamikaze Penguins take Sivir. They don't want to use the Ezreal again. They're going to go with that ultimate with Sivir for the speed boost to really help Amumu and Urgot get a better engage. It's a really good combo between all that, actually. I really like that for their first 3 picks, knowing exactly how this team comp is supposed to work already before we even see any other picks coming out from them.
Yeah, and now they just deny it again from HTS. They had such a strong game on that Sivir in game 1, so to take it away not only helps your team comp, but definitely takes away from HTS Gaming, as we see a couple of mid lane bans coming out. The Cassiopeia, Yasuo taking off the board, as well as Orianna. And I think notable here, no bans towards Man's Deferred just yet. So he may be able to play, his Corki, may be able to play his Silas, but he may also be waiting for that counter pick as they do have last pick in this draft.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Orianna ban by HTS is actually a really smart ban on their part, because The last thing you want with Sivir's ultimate and the whole team rushing at you is to have Orianna throw her ball on the Amumu so that she can ult right away as soon as Amumu goes in. You know, that's the last thing you need on top of everything else happening. So that's a smart ban on their part. Kamikaze Penguins just picks up a Braum. It's a decent pairing with Sivir. You know, there are better pairings, but, you know, that's definitely going to work. And then to respond, HTS Gaming picks up Talia. I actually really like Talia in the mid lane. I think she's a really strong mid laner. If your plan is to roam with her to help the top lane and the bot lane, I really think Talia's very strong at doing that. So if that's their plan, if that's what they're going to use her for, you know, I can't wait to see the kind of roams that she's going to be able to do here.
Yeah, I do believe that Talia is going to be on Find the Light in the jungle. They banned away the RE4 tuition fee, and then she just defaults right back to a comfortable Lux pick there. So I do believe that will be in the jungle. But to counter the Lux, and as we talked about last game and before last game, Mansdeferg on Corki may be able to put this game in his back pocket and carry his team to a victory in game number 2.
Yeah, I mean, putting Mansberg on Corki, you know, that's a huge comfort pick, you know. Definitely a champion that he can be very successful with if his team helps facilitate that. Luckily, with the Mumu, Urgot, and Braum, they have enough peel and enough protection that this could be a very successful team comp for them. The Sivir and the Corgi could be safe, and they could do a lot of damage. But they have to have that teamwork and that coordination to make it work that way.
Yeah, Talia in the jungle, this is going to be a crazy pick here. Very, very strong if you're able to land the seismic shove onto the unraveled earth. But I think also notably for the Kamikaze Penguins, Amumu Q dashing in, Urgot's dash with the disdain, and Corki's Valkyrie, all of those also will proc the unraveled earth. So if she doesn't land her seismic shove, but she does have any of these champions inside of the E on the ground, the cone of rocks that she puts on the ground, if they dash through it, they're taking that extra damage. So a pretty solid pickup. But Amumu right now, so very strong. He's just going to jump right onto your face. It kind of makes it hard to land any abilities on him. So we'll kind of have to see how Find the Light plays and if he plays this Talia as well as he does Lee Sin.
Yeah, we're definitely going to find out if he can do that for sure. You know, it really speaks a lot to HTS Gaming's ban strategy and what they wanted to do with their team comp, that their first 2 bans were Poppy and Ornn. You know, both champions that can really affect your team's engage and really stop a hard engage from coming at you. That was the thing that they feared the most, because they picked the Aurelia, they picked the Kaisa. They definitely want those 2 to be able to go in and really affect team fights. So taking Poppy and Ornn out right away just makes perfect sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Poppy, a very strong counter pick into the Aurelia, which Pazzo has played before, but always going to game, or I'm sorry, Asher the Heathen has a very strong track record on the Urgot. So I would imagine, being a top laner, he's played this matchup before. He sees the Aurelia picked out first and says, hey, give me that Urgot, and I'm going to make this lane really whatever I want it to be. Didn't have the best showing on the Ornn, but well enough to draw the ban, which snuck through that Urgot pick.
I mean, I almost wonder that if they had that third ban, HTS Gaming, you know, would they have picked the Urgot? Did they just think that Ornn and Poppy were the more important bans of those 3 to get out of the way? You know, I just wonder what their third ban would have been if they had it, you know?
Yeah, they definitely could have been targeting that top lane to make sure that Aurelia could get ahead. But fortunately for the Kamikaze Penguins, they get a freebie here and manage to pick up a couple of power picks for themselves. And again, I was talking about it last game. No bans towards Mansberg. And I think he played that Nico well. He played Nico well in a losing game. And his champion pool is pretty big. So not to take away anybody, I think is smart, just because if you ban his Corki, if you ban his Silas, he's still going to have a pretty solid performance in that mid lane.
Yeah. I mean, he has a lot of champions to play. You know, he does a lot.
Absolutely. Huge champion pool, very hard to ban him out. I believe this might be the first time we're seeing Find the Light on Talia, which I think is a fantastic pick. Has the utility ult to roam around the map, which we have seen him. He likes to make those early plays. He was so proactive on the Lee Sin, so Talia going to be able to help that. A tough gank, though, for a lot of these champions here because he does have to hit that seismic shove, which is a pretty hard skill shot to land when you do have the Valkyrie from Amumu, Sivir skill shots, Urgot being able to dash away. So we'll just kind of have to see how he's able to either use his E against them and against their dashes, or if he's able to land those combos. As a Talia player, as I've played Talia, I myself have troubles once we start getting into those team fights because you're standing on the passive where you're not being able to throw the threaded volleys. You're not able to throw three, or you're only getting the one. And so it kind of makes it tough and confusing. And then if you have a really bad ultimate, that Weaver's Wall can kind of scrap everything for your team.
Yeah, that's true. You know, I mean, a bad placement of that Weaver's Wall can kind of ruin a team fight for your entire team. So she's got to be really careful of her placements for that, especially considering the fact that Corki's going to be moving around, Sivir's going to be moving around in these fights. Brahma, Mumu, Urgot, they're all going to be going in to disrupt and peel for their two carries. So if Talia splits her team up improperly, that's almost some guaranteed deaths for their team. So got to be very knowledgeable about where you're placing those walls and making sure you have the right angle.
Yeah, and the Kamikaze Penguins having a pretty solid pick comp with the Braum passive, the concussive blows, and then Sivir to follow up, or even a Mumu able to land the bandage toss on an important carry who may be split up because of that ultimate, because of the Weaver's Wall. Going to absolutely delete anybody here. Again, kind of going back to the Talia pick because it is a little different. Once she does build a few items, even once she has her jungle items and maybe her sorcerer boots or her sorcerer shoes, can absolutely 100-0 somebody. If you land the combo as well as the threaded volley, if every single rock hits, can absolutely delete somebody. So I think, although Mumu not the most aggressive jungler, has to be very, very proactive. I would like to see some deep vision from the Kamikaze Penguins to kind of slow down Find the Light. I wrote down in my notes that the HTS vision score, just as a whole for every character, was higher than their counterparts. So they were warding more, they were getting rid of vision more. So from Kamikaze Penguins, I'd like to see some maybe deeper wards, some wards in the jungle, or even just warding when you are going to play aggressive. So that way, Find the Light, you can kind of take away some of that momentum.
Yeah, sure. And one thing that I hope Kamikaze Penguins do in this game, Kai'Sa doesn't have a spell shield. They don't need to be as worried about them interrupting any kind of CC or anything for the bot lane anymore. So, Amumu, go into that bot lane, gank, try to take out Kai'Sa and Thresh early, try to get your bot lane ahead. Because last game, Godzilla was definitely a problem on that Sivir, could be just as much of a problem this game on Kai'Sa. So get her behind early so that she doesn't become a problem.
Yeah, and as you said, they don't have the spell shield on the Sivir. It was taken away, so hopefully we can see a little bit more, are always going to game maybe a little bit more proactive. I think he does have stronger ganks on the Amumu because he does have that bandage toss, which is a little bit easier to land, again, than the CC on the Talia. So, yeah, we'll just have to see. Talia here picking up the Dark Harvest. So she's looking to, like I said, really delete these players as we get later in the game, but we are loading on to Summoner's Rift here in just a moment. This is game number 2 between HTS Gaming and the Kamikaze Penguins. Let us know who you think is going to win in the chat. Hashtag HTS win, hashtag KP win as these players load up.
I would really like to see a victory from the Penguins. Make this a 1-in-1 series. I would really like to see them come out and surprise us after getting stomped that last game. Seeing that they can reset that mentality, see that they can come up with a plan after getting stomped so hard and being able to overcome that.
Yeah, and these players jumped right into the lobby for the next game, so I think Mans DeFerg, as that captain, able to just keep everybody level-headed. Unfortunate game, obviously, in that first game, but hopefully able to kind of be that voice of the team to keep everybody up in spirits and just move on to the next game, because it doesn't do any good dwelling on the first. And as we see here, just a standard start. Junglers on the bottom side this time, and that line of scrimmage drawn, making sure the jungles stay safe.
Absolutely. And one thing I need to comment, I don't play Corki, so I don't know if Hail of Blades is a good keystone for Corki. Would you have any knowledge about that?
I don't. I did notice that as well. But Mans has a whole heap of games played on that champion, so he definitely knows, I would imagine, what he should be running. I think typically you see maybe like a Comet or maybe a Fleet Footwork, something like that. We'll have to keep an eye on the build, though, because he did start that Corrupting Potion to stay safe. So we'll have to see. Does he build Hybrid? Does he go AP? Does he go AD? We'll just kind of have to keep an eye on that Corki pick.
Yeah, I mean, because either the Hail of Blades is good on Corki in general, or this is a Mansferg special, where this is a build that he really likes but isn't common.
Absolutely. Could be, because that is one of his most played champions. So when you play champions so much, you do a little bit of experimenting, you find out what works for you. And I think that's best or better than just following that cookie cutter style build where you maybe look something up and see what the pros are doing. Definitely good to kind of build around your play style.
Absolutely, yeah. It's always better to, if you're able to specialize, if you have the experience to specialize, that can sometimes work much better than the usual way of doing things.
And now we see that Sivir pick playing dividends already in the spot lane, getting some good poke onto that Thresh. Maybe the target here. Now Aurelia doesn't find the stun. Urgot doesn't find the disdain. So these top laners just going toe-to-toe. Both top laners do have Conqueror, so it's going to make their skirmishing very, very strong in that top lane.
Good poke coming out from the Sivir. I like it. The CS is also going to be about even bot lane. Sivir could actually get ahead on this wave if she gets all the CS.
Fighting in the top lane as that hook lands in the bottom lane. Braum jumps in, trying to save the AD carry. Flash, and no heal actually burned there on the side of the Kamikaze Penguins, but Kaisa did use hers to keep her support alive, so they do have that summoner spell advantage now in that bottom lane, and Braum does have the ignite still, whereas Thresh used it there. Unfortunately not able to find the kill. There's a spell shield on the next death sentence, so good spell shield there, and Asuf playing that Sivir just as he should. Maybe needs to be a little bit quicker on that spell shield cast.
Yeah, there's something so satisfying about playing Sivir and getting those spell shields with perfect timing. It's so satisfying, and it's always fun to see a Sivir that can do that as well from a spectator standpoint.
Yeah, and that's only going to keep this bot lane even at most. That's what we kind of want to see out of this bot lane after getting dominated in that last game. And now Mumu getting caught out here. Always gonna get first blooded here. The Talia lands the combo on top of the light binding. And I talked about her previously. They ended up getting that early vision deep in the jungle, so they're able to find out where Find the Light was. Looks for a gank in the mid lane, but unfortunately walking on some vision himself.
It's true. I mean, unfortunately for the Amumu, that gank was just kind of risky. Even without vision in that bush, he still had to step out from the bush for a little bit before... Oh, fight.
Yep, now we see Talia on the bottom side of the map. Find the light. Gonna find the plays again. Here comes the teleport from Mans DeFerg. Not gonna get stopped here, but Sivir already dead. And HTS Gaming able to walk away from this one 2 kills ahead.
Yeah, I mean... that was just rough all around there. I mean, somebody was probably going to die. It just so happened to be the Sivir. Just was the unlucky one, I guess. The spell shield only shields you from one ability. It can't stop everything.
Yeah, and Talia able to land the combos, get the damage off, and again, vision is going to pay huge dividends in this bottom lane, and they just didn't have any vision. So the teleport from Corki just a moment too late, and Talia down in that bottom lane just very, very bursty, able to get their Kaisa a kill, who now is coming back to lane with a BF sword.
Yeah, and I'm going to go back to talking about that Amumu gank in mid because now I have an opportunity. So he had to take a couple of steps out of that bush before he could use his bandages on Lux, because Lux was behind minions at the time. Unfortunately, what that means is that you don't have that element of surprise of just throwing bandages out of nowhere. So even if there was no vision in that bush, Lux still would have had the opportunity to throw the binding out there to trap him and then escape. It just so happened that they made the call to have Talia come and help out, and they got a kill out of it.
Yeah, now we see the bot lanes going toe-to-toe. 2v2. Braum getting taken low. Almost dead there. One more auto attack would have pumped the plasma. So it has to be careful here. Tribbles. Again, now Thresh has that ignite, so they have that kill pressure. And one more auto attack and an ignite might have picked that one up.
Yeah, I mean, Thresh's ignite was up. That's true. That could have been a good opportunity for them. They either got scared or they didn't think it was.
Sivir getting a little bit of poke damage with the boomerang blade. They do have that pink ward now in that river bush, but they have to be very, very careful. Like I said, I would definitely love to see some deep wards so they can get eyes on this Talia before she's able to make plays. She is level 6 now, so she is going to have that Weaver's Wall. So just like Nocturne would gank, just like really any of these unorthodox junglers, Zac, Rek'Sai, people that can just come over walls, if you don't have that unorthodox stuff warded, you're not going to be able to stop these ganks here. But now Man's looking for a trade kill in the mid lane. Talia flashing forward, didn't manage to land the combo. Ultimate blown by Lux. Not going to find the kill so far, but Manzaferg able to walk away from that one. Now Ignite is on to that Braum, and he may just go down. That is going to be the kill over to the support, and Mumu picks up a kill in the mid lane, and now a 2v1 here. Sivir going down, but in that mid lane, able to turn things around. So overall now, Manzaferg getting a shutdown for himself. A 3-for-2 across the map. Talia there to counter gank that Amumu, picking up the kill. But Manzaferg on that Corki pick, able to stay alive, play that fight well, and manage to pick up a shutdown kill for himself.
Yeah, really nice outplay by him there. You know, it could have gone either way, but he made it work.
Yeah, off of that double kill in the bottom lane. A turret plate going over to HTS Gaming on that Kaisa, now sitting on 150 gold bounty on her head and 1,500 gold in her pocket. And I think notable here, she is looking to build towards that Stormrazor rather than the Muramana, which a lot of Kaisa players have been building recently. But now Mumu getting spotted out here, using that Scuttle Crab to avoid the threaded volley. Corki not here to go in just yet. He does have that package available, but they're going to play it safe. They don't have any vision in that river. So just afraid of maybe Lux trying to make a play there. They don't want to bite off more than they can chew here. This game's still fairly close. Only a 2,000 gold lead for HTS Gaming.
Absolutely. So yeah, the Kaisa, I want to touch on that Stormrazor comment you made because as an AD carry who likes to play Kaisa, I do like that Muramana build on her. I like that build a lot. Whether this is just because, Godzilla is more comfortable with the Stormrazor build, hasn't put enough time into the Muramana build, that could be one reason why he's going with that. Or just because they're already ahead, he feels like he can spend the extra gold.
Yep, 3-man gank in the top lane. The ultimate coming out from Urgot, and Fear Beyond Death going to pick that one up. A beautiful roam from Mans there with the jungler, beating Talia to the punch, and they find that kill onto the Aurelia, which is just going to now gold up onto that Urgot, and he's going to be able to close that CS deficit.
Yeah, that was a really good gank, really good teamwork there. Also does a really good job of helping Urgot catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of just relieves some pressure in that top lane, and Aurelia does not have that teleport, so she's going to be losing some minions as well. Might give that XP or level advantage over to the Urgot here.
That Sivir Spell Shield coming in handy in bot lane again, though. You know, she... Oh, but then the Thresh
forward
flashes
with
in and
the
ultimates.
box. Spell shield not available. There's the heal from the Sivir. She's trying to trade some damage back now. Braum caught in a very bad spot. The concussive blows does stun up that Thresh. Nothing found just yet, but as I say that, Manzafur goes down in the mid lane, and Kaisa goes in with the killer instinct to find a kill underneath the turret on the Braum. Now Amumu caught in the middle of two. He does tank one turret shot. He is going to go down. A 3-for-1 across the board here for HTS Gaming. Urgot now caught up, uses the disdain, but he doesn't find the Aurelia. Both of these top laners have the Conqueror procs going on. Flash out of the Urgot to keep himself safe. Now Sivir trying to keep him off this turret, but some more plates going the way of this bot lane for HTS Gaming.
Oh, yeah!
Sivir able to pick one up for herself. Kaisa just so very strong, has a completed item on that Sivir, able to pick up the kill underneath the turret, but Corki with a beautiful teleport down to that bottom lane, able to get another kill for himself. And right now, Mans is really trying to take this game into his own hands.
Yeah, I mean, that just a really good awareness by him to head down bot lane. Timed it pretty much perfect.
A beautiful Valkyrie there to keep him away from the seismic shove. And as we were talking about him, his ears must have been ringing because he finds a solo kill on the jungler. The captains go toe-to-toe in that bottom lane, and Mans comes out on top. A beautiful play there. And using that Valkyrie, like I said, before the Unraveled Earth comes out, so he doesn't take that extra damage. Thresh looking for blood there. Not going to find it. And I think this right here just plays to the point that we talked about, HTS Gaming maybe coming off a little too ambitious after that dominant win and stepping up, thinking they can make some of these plays that unfortunately they're not able to. But speaking of plays, Aurelia in the top lane does not have the ultimate. Fear Beyond Death is available. Now Cloud Drake going over to the Kamikaze Penguins. Amumu able to solo that one out. Now Mans Deferg absolutely huge, chunking down that Lux, but it doesn't matter because Talia's there. The gank is successful this time. Now Asher disconnects in that top lane. Here comes the pause.
Yeah, a little bit of a top DC. They pause it, but should be back here pretty soon. Yeah, it's a shame Mansford died in that engage in mid lane because there was no vision to see that Talia was on her way. You know, he was just caught completely off guard. Didn't even think Talia would be there.
Yeah, and Find the Light has really, in both of these games, been just at the right spot at the right time. Always. Yeah. He's up in the top lane finding ganks. He's finding counter ganks in that mid lane against the Amumu twice now. And then there we see the 1v1 between the mid laners, and there to kind of just swing the tide of that fight.
Yeah, pretty much. It's also worth noting, and I have experience with Mansberg, so I know that he likes to make risky plays. They work out for him more often than not, but he likes to take risks. Yeah, and that just happened to be a risk that didn't pan out for him.
Yeah, he's taken a couple TPs down in the bottom lane, and I think that right there has paid off for him. So to your point there, doing a good job. You know, high risk, high reward kind of player, and I like that.
Yeah, I mean, they're always fun to watch. Even if they don't succeed, you will have a good time watching them try to make plays.
And now we see Corki does have the completed Trinity Force with the Sorcerer Shoes, so that Phosphorus Bomb going to be able to do a little bit of damage and really hopefully be able to weave these auto attacks in. But the hook coming out onto the Braum now, sitting underneath half health. The box is on, so is On the Hunt, trying to stay safe. Unbreakable going to negate all of that damage, so they're able to walk away from that one, and Sivir trades a little back for herself.
Yeah, I mean, one of these times, Thresh and Kaiser are going to engage, and it's not going to go their way. It's just a matter of time if they keep trying to make engages like that into a Braum that's only going to be building tankier and tankier as the game goes on.
Yeah, very aggressive in that bottom lane, but speaking of aggressive, here's Find the Light. Absolutely deletes that Urgot. Now Aurelia getting one back for herself. Absolutely huge here now. Mumu on the bottom side trying to trade it back. The damage on the Sivir is going to be enough, or the damage on the Kaisa rather. And now Thresh running the wrong way. That is not your base, buddy. Going to give the kill over to that Amumu.
And they tried to hand it over to the Sivir. They tried.
They did their darndest. I think it was actually the Cinder Hulk that picked it up for the Amumu. But I think notably there, if you're that Thresh and you know you're going to die, just run into the turret. You don't give the assist over to the Amumu. You don't give anything over to the Sivir. Braum, it's a solo kill for Braum, and not too much loss there. But now, another kill on Amumu, which is going to make him stronger towards this Leandri's buy. And an assist for Sivir, which is just going to allow her to hit her 3-item power spike sooner.
Yeah, I mean, we are seeing some good plays. We are seeing some good decisions out of the Penguins. The problem is that they're still down in gold. They're still 4,000 gold behind. And it's due mostly to the CS leads that we see in top and jungle on the side of HTS.
Yeah, Talia's been very proactive as she makes that gank in the top lane. Mumu makes a counterplay on the bottom side, and Talia just immediately goes up into that jungle and just takes his entire topside jungle. Grabs the red, grabs the Krugs, grabs the Raptors, but now we're seeing Manzaferg trying to grab himself a kill. A huge heap of damage onto that Kaisa Asuv on a killing spree, but Thresh flashes forward with the Ignite, manages to pick one up for himself. Not going to go down without a fight. The box is on, but so is the Spell Shield. A double kill for that Sivir. Now Urgot makes it out alive in this fight in the top lane. He does have the Fear Beyond Death. Not going to use it. Just it actually wears off there, I believe. And now Talia flashing forward. There's the Fear Beyond Death. Not going to pick up the kill because Talia finds it, and a double kill for Find the Light. And a crazy skirmish in that top lane. It's back and forth. Such a crazy fight there. But 6-2 and 3 on that Talia is Find the Light. And again, he's finding these plays.
Oh, man. Top lane could have gone either way. Could have went either way on that. Anybody could have gotten all those kills.
Yeah, Urgot sitting on that Fear Beyond Death. I believe just with the minions around and the mobility between Aurelia and Talia, just so afraid to miss that ultimate. But now we see Mans coming in. He does flash away there to keep himself safe from the flawless duet. So finding another kill for himself. And it looks like maybe working towards that Infinity Edge. This Korka, we've already seen his damage with just this Triforce. As soon as he gets a couple more items, he's going to be deleting these carries.
So the Kaisa and the Sivir are almost dead even in everything right now. The KDA is exactly the same. The CS is almost exactly the same.
Now we see some fighting in the mid lane. Amumu going to grab himself an assist there as Mans finds himself another kill now on the bottom side. Sivir flashing forward there. Uses the heal to keep that Braum alive. Is it going to be enough? Thresh so dangerously low. He makes it out alive. A double kill on that Sivir. I'm sorry, a kill going over to the Sivir. One going over to the Braum. But as we say that, a double kill in the mid lane. Find the Light, making the plays there. But this Sivir now getting ahead of that Kaisa, just as we were talking about how even it was.
I know, yeah, not even anymore. Talia comes bot for a gank, but takes down tower, so Sivir has no reason not to charge in. They do disengage, though. Sivir's going to just back off and reset. Probably smart on her part.
Yeah, and Sivir sitting on 1,600 gold. Going to be able to go back and buy herself something nice here. And then we see
Probably
the plays.
Gonna finish off that Zeal item, to be honest.
Absolutely. Maybe a maybe looking towards a rapid fire cannon. Nope. Actually going to be the Phantom Dancer, so she wants to the tradability, that shield there from the Phantom Dancer.
I think that's a really smart pickup.
Braum now caught out in the middle of two. Might not have enough to get away. Kaisa doing too much damage. So a free kill going over there. Now Lux makes a roam to the top side, forces the flash out of the Urgot, and Man's looking for a trade kill on the bottom side. Dragon is available, and it is a Mountain Drake. If you are the Kamikaze Penguins, that is going to be a good Dragon for you because you do have a monstrous Baron-taking team. Your team absolutely smashes these objectives, these structures, so they might put their eyes on that Dragon. As we see the bottom lane, just looking for a little bit of cheese, but not going to find anything just yet. Always going to game, trying to find something. Nothing just yet. Again, just tossing out those bandage toss. The bandage toss. Really just seeing what sticks, kind of. Throwing, mud on the wall, seeing what sticks.
Yeah, going fishing.
Exactly. Trying to find something, looking for getting that pick comp. Corki very, very bursty. And Amumu doing quite a bit of damage for himself as well. He does have that Leandries. And now we're seeing both of these teams kind of set up around this dragon. And notably here, Aurelia does not have that teleport, whereas Urgot does. Dragon going to be started up by HTS Gaming, but it's going to get absolutely deleted here. Kai'Sa so very strong. That's going to go over, but here comes the engage on the backside. Now Braum getting dangerously low. Final Life finds one so far. Corki gets one for himself. Now the AD carry's going toe-to-toe, but the killer instinct gonna make it an uneven fight. Corki grabs another one for himself, but so does Taliyah. So far, now a 4-for-2 in that dragon fight, and Urgot unfortunately not able to join his team.
Yeah, didn't even use the teleport, so it's not like he tried and then the Aurelia stunned him out of it. He just didn't use it at all. And I don't know if that's miscommunication on the team or if the team was specifically telling him not to TP in. But either way, that's kind of a missed opportunity for Urgot. You know, they could have turned that fight around had he been there to help out.
Absolutely. Maybe just fearing that split push a little too much now that Aurelia has the Infinity Edge. But they lose a whole lot on that play. They lose the Mountain Drake. They lose 2 kills to 4. And the AD carries going toe-to-toe. Sivir having a little bit of a lead before that fight. But the killer instinct from Kai'Sa, giving her that shield, really kind of swayed the fight in her favor and allowed her to pick up a double kill there.
Yeah, and now she's got a Rage Blade too on top of it. So, you know, the longer a fight goes on, the stronger that Kai'Sa becomes because of that item.
Absolutely, and a Rage Blade and a BF Sword on top of it. Just so very strong. And now with that Mountain Drake and the Rage Blade, Baron is a huge threat for this team now. Speaking of threats, Braum gets caught out, stuck in the middle of 3. Sivir not able to help there. Gonna toss in a pizza, but nobody wants that now. Flash forward from the Thresh, looking for more. Death Sentence, not gonna find anything. Valkyrie to keep Corki safe. But now 4 members of HTS Gaming sieging down this mid lane. Going to be tough to siege here against the Corki and the Sivir. So we'll just kind of see how they have to play this. Kai'Sa, although on the bottom side of the map, looking for that tier 2.
Absolutely. She's going to be able to pressure it against the Sivir, you know. She's going to be able to do just fine on her own if nobody from the Penguins comes and helps out.
Spell Shield is on. Not going to find
Mumu
much
looks
more.
like he wants to help.
We actually see the knockback there. Urgot goes in for the disdain to try and find a pick on one of the players, but a beautiful seismic shove going to push him away. And now Sivir trying to find the kills, but so much damage from that Kai'Sa. She goes in with a killer instinct, has the shield underneath the turret, tanks a couple turret shots, but now is rampaging as she finds that solo kill. Smite is on. Amumu should be able to trade this one back. A nice shutdown for him. But mid lane still under pressure. There comes the final spark. It does land on one. Urgot stuck up underneath the death sentence. A tuition fee grabs herself another kill. Mumu goes in now, but stuck in the middle of 3. Going to be in trouble. Not able to find the Taliyah as she flashes away. A double kill now for tuition fee, and that's a 2-for-3 overall.
Yeah, just some really rough moments. Like Penguins are making a good decision, but then HTS counters it with a better decision as soon as Penguins commit to something.
And it's one of those things where you see like a nice engage, but it's on a target who has flash or on a target who has some kind of mobility to kind of get away and turn it around. So I think what they need to do now is keep this same mindset, but they have to fight within these next 5 minutes. If they want to find the shutdown on Taliyah, now she has no flash, they need to try and find that pick just as Amumu was looking for earlier. Sivir needs to play maybe a little bit more passive. Not able to 1v1 that Kai'Sa anymore. So very strong with those 2 items. And then Amumu into that Taliyah down 3 levels. So really kind of have to play careful or be careful, because just those passive resistances or the passive damage that they're getting already just off the level advantage is huge.
Ooh, good Valkyrie by the Corki. Very nice.
Keeping himself safe for now. And I think on top of that level lead for the junglers, with Baron on the map and a dragon coming up in here in just a moment. It is a Cloud Drake, so nothing crazy. But Taliyah going to have that smite advantage, having 3 levels on the Amumu.
Corki gets that blue buff, good. He can do a lot more in these team fights now. Doesn't have to worry about watching his mana. He can just go all in.
Yeah, and I like to see he kind of defers from his build for just a moment to pick up that Hex Drinker to keep himself safe. It's a very, very AP heavy team with the Lux, with the Taliyah, and then the hybrid damage from the Kaisa. So picks himself up some magic resistance, and I really like to see that out of their captain.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely worried about the Taliyah more than anything. So that's definitely a good pickup. I don't know if he's going to prioritize finishing that into a Maw right away, or just going to keep the Hex Drinker and build something else.
We see Amumu looking for the engagement. He does get stunned up by the Flawless Duet. Now 2 stuck underneath the light binding. He goes in out of that Kaisa, but does it have the damage? I don't think so. Kaisa kiting back, and a double kill so far on the Taliyah. Corki managed to get one for herself. But again, as I said, Kaisa kiting it back, picks up the Amumu, and that is going to be an ace for HTS Gaming. A 2 for 5 there. Only the support and the AD carry going down, and Mumu maybe just biting off a little more than he could chew there. The team can't necessarily follow up without putting themselves in a very dangerous position. And now mid lane going to be pressured here by HTS Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility that they can get this inhibitor. I mean, death timers are winding down, but they should be able to finish this off and get out of there.
Mid inhib going down. Baron still up here. Corki going to be up in just under 5 seconds, so maybe not able to contest it just yet, but probably looking to steal some jungle, reset, and then maybe set up vision around that objective.
Ooh, really good engage.
Maybe caught out here. Mumu goes in with the bandage shots, and they shut down, going over to that Corki, and that's exactly where you want it. Man's deferred, so huge in these fights. Flawless Duet going to stun up that Amumu, but the jungler is dead, and they might find some more here. Kaisa coming in, getting a little bit of poke damage down onto that Urgot. Now standing on the outside there. Absolutely huge orb walking, getting the damage. The Plasma's onto that Braum. He is going to fall, but now here comes the Corki trying to find the damage onto that Thresh. Thresh goes down so far. Kaisa grabs one, but not going to be enough to grab another. Now Fear Beyond Death going to pick up that Aurelia. Lux now on the outside of the fight, but super minions are pushing the base. A 2 for 4 overall, a good turn for the Kamikaze Penguins, but they have to be careful here.
Ooh, this is risky.
Going
if this
for the Baron.
fails, those super minions are getting those towers.
And Lux waiting just on the outside. 19 stacks on the Magi's, 19 stacks on the Dark Seal. One final spark here could sit down really everybody on this team. Now 2,000 health on the Baron. It is going to go over to the red team, but deleted is Asher. Now Mumu trying to make his way out here. Uses the ultimate, but Taliyah going to grab that kill for herself. So 2 dead, and now only a Baron, I believe, on Sivir, and maybe that Braum.
Yeah, did the Braum respawn in time? That's the question. He did. He does have it.
Now
so
Baron.
2 champions on the side of the Penguins that have that buff.
And overall, a solid fight and a solid pickup from the Kamikaze Penguins. Able to find Taliyah biting off again, or just being a little more ambitious, trying to take the rest of the jungle as the team is respawning. They come in, get the pick, and then really able to just use that to turn that fight around. Lux not able to find her way into the fight. Taliyah, a big carry, being dead. And then they find the 2v1 onto the Kaisa. She does trade one back, though. That Kaisa, very, very scary now. Has 3.5 items built. Working on that Zeal item. And Lux, 25 stacks on the Magi's. I'm going to get hooked out. There's the seismic shove, and there's the damage I was talking about. Taliyah so very strong. She's got the completed death cap. She also has the twin shadows here, so she's going to be able to use those ghosts to land the slow, and then use that slow to help supplement her CC. She is forced to flash away there. Manzaferg stepping up, trying to find a kill. 650 gold shutdown for the Taliyah. So still kind of looking for that kill on one of your carries.
Absolutely. Oh, gets a...
There's the Glacial Fissure, Fear Beyond Death is on. That's going to proc the Sterix, but that's going to be a kill there. Asher the Heathen picking up a kill on that Aurelia. It's now a 4v5 as 4 members. Here comes Sivir bringing up the rear. Push down this mid lane. Kamikaze Penguins trying to find some gold for themselves.
That was 2 ultimates used to kill the Aurelia, so that is something to take into account for this next fight. You know, did the Urgot have to use Fear Beyond Death to finish that fight? You know, debatable. He might have wanted to save it for the next fight because HTS is definitely gearing up to fight them here.
Yeah, and I think with Manzaferg, it looks like he's working towards that GA. Urgot, I love you, and you're a great player, and you're going to do great things for your team this game, as we see a pause coming out here. But I would definitely like to see them trying to put those kills on their carries. Sivir wasn't there. She was farming up the jungle, trying to keep herself ahead in gold there. But Corki in that fight, they may have been able to kind of pass that over to him and allow him to really like force himself into these fights. With that GA, he can play a little more aggressive.
Yeah, pretty much. I think I'm having a computer issue. I'm gonna try to fix this quick before the game's over.
Yep, no problem. We see now Cloud Drake going over to the Kamikaze Penguins. So 2 Cloud Drakes for them. That's going to keep them nice and speedy as they move around this map. And now Urgot split up from the team. He dashes forward, but he hits the seismic shove. He pops his stopwatch here, but he's going to be cut out. Final Spark will be used, but Find the Light finding the kill there. Now 15, 3, and 10 on that Talia is level 17, the highest level in the game. And now 4 members pressuring this mid lane for HTS Gaming. And it looks like they might make that rotate up to the top lane. Again, this mid inhibitor already down. They want to open up this map a little bit more. Aurelia now grouping up here. Urgot dead for another 20 seconds. And Kamikaze Penguins have to be careful pushing through this jungle here. Now Manzaferg a little ways behind his team. Amumu might be looking for some flawless duet onto 2. There is the death sentence onto that Brahmin. Absolutely deleted. The damage is just too much between these carries. That is another member dead. Now a 3v5 in this top lane. Kamikaze Penguins forced to play defensively and just try and wave clear. Here comes the Weaver's Wall splitting off the team, though. Has to drop it. Thresh goes down, traded over, but another kill for the Talia. A beautiful combo here. But now here comes the Amumu. He's got the ultimate down onto 2. Shutdown gold going over to Asher on that Urgot. Another kill traded over, but Kaisa on the backside uses the killer instinct, has the shield underneath the turret. It doesn't matter. Absolutely huge here. A triple kill for that Kaisa. That is all 5 members dead. Braum coming up here in 10 seconds, but may not be enough to defend this base. Pazzo farming up this top wave here as the minions are crashing. Kaisa getting this mid lane pushed. And like I said, Braum probably not enough here to stop Kaisa. So this mid inhibitor is going to go down inside the Kamikaze Penguins base. And with this, they might just look to reset. Baron coming up in just over a minute. Infernal Drake also next dragon on the board. And now we're seeing an 8,000 gold lead for HTS Gaming.
Yeah, that's a pretty substantial gold lead. Got my issue solved, so I'm back for the rest of the cast, hopefully.
Awesome. Yeah, just this Thresh pick in both of these games has been so huge. Finding these death sentences onto these targets, and then a lot of that is just supplemental CC for Talia to land the rest of her combo as well. And as I was saying before, with a few items, Talia absolutely deletes people, and her abilities are CC. So she has the Landry, so she's getting the 2.5% maximum HP damage burn on top of all the rest of the damage that she's doing. With that Rabadons, with the 12-stack Magi's, just huge in these fights, and the team doing a great job keeping their captain ahead.
Yeah, I mean, actually, both teams are doing a good job of keeping their captain ahead. Manzaferg is the strongest member of the Penguins, and at the same time, Talia. We have another pause.
Another pause coming through. Tribbles having some issues again, and yeah, a sizable lead on that Corki over the Lux. Now 2,500 gold over that Lux. Baron spawning here in just a moment, and Mans is sitting on 1,400 gold, and he's in a really weird spot here because he's got that chain vest in his inventory, and he can't go back and really buy anything. If he doesn't already have the potion, which it doesn't look like he does, that would really be the only thing he can buy. He can't go back and finish any of his items. He can't go back pick up a BF sword, anything like that. So in a strange spot for this next fight for sure.
Bit of a longer pause than the last one was.
Yeah, did reconnect here, so hopefully coming back soon.
Yeah, should be. One thing that I really like here, it's a slight opening that the Penguins have. They have 2 Cloud Drakes. Their maneuverability around the map is greater at this point than the maneuverability of HTS. If they can figure out how to use that to their advantage, if they can figure out how to position themselves to get a good flank or to get a really good team fight with their positioning, that's one way that they can get themselves back into this game. That's one way that they can turn it around and get some objectives. Because those Cloud Drakes are just free stats. Didn't cost them any money. Just free stats helping them out. Try to take advantage of those.
And I think one thing that's paying dividends towards this lead is the vision score on these champions. Now, Urgot well ahead of that Aurelia in his vision score. But if you look at the jungler, 54 to 25. You look at the support, 76 to 48. And when you're talking about a flank, if you look at the vision here, basically really any way that they could go except through that tri-bush is warded, but they're going to have to walk over a ward to get there. So it makes it difficult to utilize, just as you were saying, these 2 Cloud Drakes that they have. Makes it very hard to... They're just not able to use all of their arsenal because it is getting shut down here by HTS.
Basically, and like you brought up vision score, that's a good point. I mean, you look at the vision score that the Thresh has for HTS, 76. That's an LCS number for vision score. Like, you only see anybody with vision score numbers like that if they're on an LCS team or an academy team.
Yeah, and I think we can also attribute his play to some of that as well. With the death sentences, the flash flays, very difficult to hit. It's not as easy as you would think. That flay works really wonky, but he's able to pull it off on that Thresh and just ultimately looked good.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of different ways. Sorry, I'm getting confused with my own wording. Let me start. There are a lot of different champions that Thresh can counter just with the way that he uses the flay. For instance, one of the famous ones is when Leona comes in with her E, Thresh can actually stop that with his flay if he flays her away. The timing is really precise, but it can be done. That's a really famous example. But there are a lot of other ways for champions to engage where Thresh can just stop it with that one ability.
Yeah, and I would imagine that goes the same for Amumu's bandage toss. I probably could take a look back and see if he's been able to do that this game. But yeah, just doing a great job, and so much peel, so much survivability, able to get this Kaisa ahead now. She's sitting on 4 items, and she has that QSS. So even if Amumu doesn't hit the bandage toss on her and manages to hit her with the ultimate, she's just going to QSS and kind of run amok on this team. She's positioning very well. Getting kills in 2v1s against the 2 carries, against the Cork and against the Sivir. Absolutely insane play so far, and we're seeing it in that score, 15-7-6.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in the QSS, a lot of people call it a tax because it doesn't give you offensive stats. It gives you defensive stats. You buy it because you have to, not because you want to. But at this point, her team is so far ahead, and even just herself with her gold, she's 3,000 gold up on the opposing AD carry. She is 2,000 gold ahead of the highest amount of gold on the Penguins, which belongs to Mansberg. She's still 2,000 gold ahead of him. So she can buy that QSS, and it doesn't really put her behind. She's already ahead.
Yeah, and you can see that her build is exactly the same as the Sivir's as far as the items go. 4 items, and that gold lead just allows her to have that extra. Now, Sivir does have the spell shield. Kaisa just counters that with, hey, now I have a QSS. So basically the same as your spell shield, and I'm going to be doing just as much damage, and I've got some extra resistances.
Yeah, the only real hope to counteract that QSS is if she gets hit by multiple forms of CC by the Penguins, which luckily they have a Mumu, Urgot, and Braum to all do that. The problem is getting to her to do that because they have to go through the entire rest of the team to do so.
Yeah, now we see this pause coming to an end here, resuming this game. Baron spawning. There's the hook onto that Urgot, and is there. Damage is there. Find the light, picks one up now. Mumu stuck in the middle of 4. A double kill so far. They do manage to trade one back onto that Thresh, but it's a 3v4. Kaisa and Talia looking for blood here. Concussive blows is on.
Ooh.
Not going to find the glacial fissure there, and it looks like HTS Gaming just going to walk away from this one and pick up that Baron.
Yeah, that's a late ultimate by Braum. I mean, even if it did hit the Talia, nobody else was really there to help engage on it, so kind of a wasted opportunity.
And no way for this to be stolen. The Baron is dead. Kaisa going to pick that one up. Smite not needed. And again, a 4v3 here. They might look for a re-engage. Kaisa goes in with the supercharge. Drops the Acathian Rain. Here comes the Lux. Finds the binding onto Braum. They find the damage, and Pazzo picks one up. Here comes the Weaver's Wall. Talia trying to end the game on this push. Manza Ferg is going to get deleted. Flashing forward. There's the Killer Instinct. Closing the gap. That's going to be 3 now dead. Urgot and Amumu are alive. But do they have the damage to keep this base up? One Nexus turret going down. Urgot on the backside. Trying to find some poke, maybe looking for the minions. Both Nexus turrets going down, and Kaisa absolutely deleting that Amumu. Now stuck in the middle of 2. Can't get back to his fountain. Urgot forced to run away as well. Look for the kill, but there's the ace, and there's the game. HTS Gaming 2-0 in this 2-game series.
Yeah, I mean, really the Penguins probably engaged at the end. I'm guessing, obviously, team, but they probably made that last engage because, you know, they felt it was now. Yeah, they felt that it was a real opportunity to really try to do something.
Yeah, that was really it for them. And unfortunately, I think maybe a little bit of miscommunication coming off of that pause. They may have felt a little awkward. As soon as the game unpaused, the death sentence was coming out. They picked up the Urgot. Braum not able to get his ultimate off. So maybe a little bit of miscommunications. But again, just great play across the board for all of the players on HTS Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same story as the first game, really, overall, if you look at the damage graphs. I mean, again, the jungler doing the most damage on the team. The AD carry, the AD carry and the jungler both being in the top 2 for damage on the team is what I should say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're both just being absolute monsters for their team. Just really doing most of the heavy lifting in these team fights for damage. You know, one thing I gotta applaud the side of the Penguins for is because, you know, like, they may have been down both of these games by a lot of gold. Even if they don't realize how much gold they're behind, they can just look at the items in the CS and know how far behind they are with those numbers and those items. And you know, I have to applaud them for not giving up. I have to applaud them for continually trying to turn it around and putting their best foot forward and trying to make things work. And, you know, that really... I don't know if that's totally because of Mansferg or if that's because it's a team effort, you know, because they're trying to make this work and they're all putting their best foot forward. But, you know, either way, props to the team for that. It's really hard to have that mindset when you're that far behind, but good on them for giving it a shot.
Yeah, absolutely. And they were able to pick up some of those fights or some of the kills in skirmishes. Again, I think their biggest downfall was because they played so very well, but I think it was just the vision, unfortunately. A few kills where Mans is starting to get ahead, but then gets picked off, or Amumu looking for a gank, and Talia just being there for the counter gank, so not really being able to track that jungler very well. And again, both games, Find the Light kind of runs away with it, but I also want to shed some light on Tuition Fee. She played the Ahri last game, played the Lux this game, and again, didn't have crazy, amazing performances, didn't do the most damage in the game, but just really supplemental picks. The charms in the first game, and now the light bindings with the follow-up damage in this game. A lot of the kills going over to the Talia, but most of them were kind of on the back end of a light binding on one member, or a light binding on 2 members, or even a death sentence from the Thresh. So really just being able to play around that pick that I was saying is so hard to hit that CC, they played it really well.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Do we want to bring any member of HTS in here for a post-game interview, perhaps?
Yeah, we can reach out and see if somebody is available. Um, let's see really quick here.
I mean, if not, that's fine. We don't necessarily have to do a post game interview.
Yeah, it looks like they're kind of starting to trickle out of the discords. A
Yeah.
couple members already leaving. But now HTS Gaming taking the number one spot in the Noxus division. So we will definitely have to, moving forward, maybe set something up where we can get one of these guys in and kind of just talk to, really, you even want to hear from Mans here and just kind of what the mindset behind the team is to play so well when you are down. Very, very tough. And then also find the light. Kind of just hear from him a little bit. I believe he is the highest rank in the game, so it definitely doesn't hurt to kind of hear from captain to captain what he does to kind of keep his team in the game and allow him to really snowball like he has been doing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But I think with that being said, that is going to wrap things up here. As we said, 2-0 HTS Gaming. GG's to them. They are the number one seed now in the Noxus bracket. So we'll have to see how that plays out for the rest of the season. Is there anything that you would like to say, to add, or anything like that before we close things out here?
Other than, hey, we're only halfway through the season. Actually, not even, because we finished. But we have a lot of games coming up. We have a lot of really good matches heading your way. I mean, and I know this is my team, and I'm not trying to hype up my own team for the sake of it, but it's Bronze 5 Age against Defiant on Thursday, and that's going to be a pretty big grudge match. We consider ourselves to be each other's rivals in our division, so that's one game to look out for this week if you want to watch two teams really go at it.
Absolutely, yeah. You guys have played against each other before in the past, so bringing it over to the casual EAL is going to bring that extra spice to it. But